Insights with Marsha. So glad you tuned in. You probably saw my interview with Samuel Bistrian a few minutes ago and said, I immediately have to go watch because it was fascinating and you're dying to hear more. So these are Samuel's boots. You want to talk about the boots for just a second in case they haven't watched the other one? They just wanted the Cliff Notes.
So this is the boot that we started with. This one right here.
I love the love boot.
When we first created 5 pairs of boots, there were samples in brown and taupe and navy, eggplant, and one other color, gray. And they were tall. We were going for that hunter look, that Burberry cross between Burberry and Hunter. And that's what we did. And then eventually we would use a pair of boots as canvas. We would get artists together and we said, paint the boots, because we always believed in fashion, philanthropy, art, and education.
Wow.
And so that's what we would do. Every year we would have artists get together and paint the boot. But then we started moving into a shorter boot, the Chelsea boot. And this was more than a seasonal rain boot. It was a year-round boot.
Yes.
So it allowed us to sell more boots because the more we sold, the more we could give away. And that was the whole idea, is that we would give as many boots away. So for every pair that we would sell, we would donate a pair of kids' boots. The kids' boots
Those are so cute.
All kinds of different colors, red, yellow, and blue. We were not actually selling kids' boots. We were only donating kids' boots.
Wow.
But then a lot of the mothers that were buying our boots said, hey, the boots that you give away, can we buy those boots as well for our kids? So we started selling kids as well. So and then later on we moved into men's. But that's Roma Boots for you for all.
And I love back here on the back how you can see the Roma. And Roma spelled backwards. Can y'all figure it out real quick? Amor. And Amor means?
Love.
And what
for
language?
You for all. Amor, well, in Spanish.
In Spanish,
So
okay.
yeah, I speak Romanian, and Romanian is different. But in Spanish, I speak Spanish as well. My wife is Colombian. So yeah, Amor is, first I did love backwards. Evol. And I was like, if you say it too fast, evil boots, evil. I was like, we don't want evil boots.
We don't want evil boots.
Evil boots. But then I did Roma and it stuck.
Yeah.
Roma, it's also the PC word for the gypsy population throughout Eastern Europe. And that's who we were helping the most early on because they're the poorest,
Yeah.
And so, of course, ever since then, we've spread all over. But initially, I would say 90% of all the recipients of our boots were Roma, gypsy. Gypsy's considered a derogatory term.
Yeah. So what's your favorite color of all the boots?
I always love like eggplant, a gray. That's the color that I always go to. An eggplant or a gray, and I have to choose a pair for somebody.
Yeah.
Or the art boots, which we do every year, but normally the art boots are the first ones to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay. So I have a list of questions for you. What's the country that changed you forever?
Been to 55 countries.
I couldn't even name 55 countries. If you said, I'll give you $1 million to name 55 countries, that's amazing.
And I love traveling. There's more to visit, but there's one country that I don't get bored or tired of going to. I've been to it 30 times, and I plan to go back over and over again. And that's Israel.
Oh.
Israel is a very, very fascinating country.
Yes.
And there's so much history, and it's so beautiful. I've been all over north to the south, Golan Heights to the desert, to where Jesus was born in Bethlehem, to where he grew up in Nazareth, and then, all over the Galilee. And it's just like a very fascinating, when I read the Bible, it comes alive to me now that I know all the geographical places. So I love Israel. And of course, Romania. Romania, I love Romania. But finally, the country that's celebrating the 250th anniversary this year, America, because in America, you can find anything, anywhere. You can, desert to snow to beaches to, you have it all here.
Yes, but I think we like Dallas weather the best. I do.
That's why we live here.
That's right. That's where we live. So neat. I just 30 trips to Israel.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I bet you beat most anybody I know. That's amazing.
I love it.
Oh, I just feel like I almost know your parents from just your story. So a specific lesson from your parents that you want to make sure you pass down to your daughters?
I think ultimately it's the values that have been instilled in me. I want to instill in my children and so on and so forth. But two things that you cannot get away from is we would pray in the mornings, pray before meals, and pray at night, and read our Bible daily. I think that's the daily bread. I tell my daughters, did you read your Bible today? Did you read your Bible? I would always ask them something I got from my parents, and hopefully my daughters can pass on to their kids.
Yeah, I think that's great. And all 12 of y'all have turned out beautifully. It's like, how you do that, you know?
Read the Bible and pray.
Yeah, there's a lot of families with 3 kids, and maybe one came out okay. That's amazing.
God's grace.
A book that shaped your calling or just shaped you in general, a certain book besides the Bible. You got to name a book you really liked.
There's quite a few, but there's one that I read, I would say early on, a book on maximizing your potential by Miles Monroe, late Miles Monroe, and then another one on discovering your purpose. You know, and so Miles Monroe really, really, I would say, touched me in that regard, you know, where I really honed in on what is my purpose, why am I here, where am I going, you know, what was I created to do. I think we should all find that.
Me too.
Once we do, it's, you know, we have a mandate and a destiny, and only we can accomplish that. God created us for a specific purpose, and once we find that, we're unstoppable.
Yeah, and there's something everybody can do that nobody else can do, like that person can do it. It's fascinating. Okay. When did you almost want to quit, but you kept on going?
Yesterday.
Is that because they lost your luggage yesterday?
No, that happens frequently.
I bet it does as much as you travel.
Yeah, but I'm saying also wanting to quit, sometimes you push through. I mean, we went through COVID, we went through, my wife and I having fights. We've been married for 22 years, you know. The truth is, like, juggling a lot, trying to do so many things. The business, it was not producing, you know, and you're just like, why am I doing this, God? I'm doing it to help people, but my family is hurting right now. My wife is telling me to go back to Neiman's, you know, having those discussions, you know, and then, you deal with something all of a sudden, like 5 40-foot containers that are stranded, and every order gets canceled, and you're just incurring debt because you don't know how to plan for it, if it's for a month or for 6 months. I think there's been so many times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and I would just say, no, keep going, keep going. And it goes back to the motivation. What is motivating you to go forward? Is it greed or is it love? Is it faith? And I'm like, what's the God? Give me faith to keep to overcome the fear that I feel, you know. And that's why, again, I try to instill in my daughters, don't give up. Fight, fight, fight. Just keep going. When you feel at your lowest, keep going.
Yeah. I think that's so true. So I have a little book where I keep all the sayings that mean something to me or whatever. And I remember one was, it's okay to talk to God like Moses did. And Moses would say, really, God? You gave me these people? They're like crazy. Do I really have to deal with this? So 7 years into starting my business, I finally, you know, was looking. I had a friend that knew how to use a spreadsheet and was like, you ain't doing that great. And I said, God, I'm giving it 1 more year. You know, that's it. Because I felt like I was doing it for him. I'm doing this for you. You got 1 year. And I really think God likes it when you put him on the spot like that. Because in 1 year, it really changed. I
agree with you. Like, you have to be honest with God and how you feel. And I think he takes that and looks like, okay. But it happens frequently. We're fighting every day. From the moment we wake up, we're fighting discouragements. We're fighting this. We're fighting that. And we just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Tell ourselves.
Keep on keeping on. How do you stay hopeful when I'm sure the need seems overwhelming?
Yeah, I think it boils out to my faith. Yeah, I know there's something better ahead. I know, you know, like the Bible says that the path of the righteous, you know, it gets brighter and brighter like the noonday, you know. And so if you have a purpose in life and you have a destiny that you just keep fighting. And though, like, when I look at the economy or like all that, I mean, there's so much negativity out there that could come through the media, through every publication that you read. But I know that my salvation is secure. I know that if I die today, I'm going to a much better place. And when I think about the fears that come, with my kid, oh, they're going to grow up in this world. Oh, my daughters go off to college. There's all kinds of just fears that can overwhelm you. To answer my question. And I got to just release surrender. God, you will take care of us. You can take care of the birds. You can take care of me. And it goes. I have to tell myself, and I've not always been good about it, and not even now I'm not great about it. But it's become more real to me because I've been in so many times I've been like in a low point. Not just talking about being in the projects or being in communist Romania,
Right.
but being, literally all the wheels fell off the way, and my wife and I are like about to get divorced because we just lost everything, and we're fighting, and we're in the desperate situation, or wanting another baby and not having that baby, and then finally the baby comes in, and the heartbeat, you're in the hospital, and the heartbeat of the baby's going out of control. And I remember holding my wife's hand and my older daughter's hand, and I said, God, I got nothing else. You're at the mercy of the doctors. And you're like, continue to be faithful to me, God. You've always been. And I think that's it. Just trusting in God's goodness and His faithfulness. He is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
That was a longer answer than you probably expect.
That's okay. No, I like it. Yeah.
It's real for me.
Okay. What's a misconception about poverty? Because you were living in poverty at one time. What would you say people don't really understand about that kid?
It's a question. One thing about it's a mindset. I've been to villages where kids are so happy and they're living such a simple life, and they're full of smiles and generous and want to share their meals, and they haven't eaten in days, or they you bring them food and they want to share their meal with you. I would say contrasting that to people that have it all and they're bitter and mean and angry and selfish and greedy. I think that's a big miss, because it's not the poor people. Poverty is a mindset. That's really,
I like
when
that.
our slogan is give poverty the boot, and we say we want to eradicate poverty, but that's just the first step. You give them a pair of boots because it empowers them. It allows them to walk to school. It allows them to go to do their chores without having to worry about getting their feet cut or having some sort of volcanic ash eat up, their feet or whatever. So it's protective in that sense. So it's empowering and protective.
I like it.
It's also sustainable, and it can be passed down. It's practical. But that's the first step. It's changing their mind. It's telling them, empowering them, you can do what I'm doing. Trust in God, work hard. You have a purpose. Even though you're in this village right now and nobody sees you, even though, you may have lost your mom and your dad and you're 5 years old or whatever, you have a plan and a purpose, and I think it's those that understand the power of generosity, those that understand, gratitude and love and kindness, that are the wealthiest. It's the ones that are selfish and bitter and mean that are the poorest, in my estimation.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, if you don't have those principles, you don't have those values taught to you, that's why it's important to have that, I would say, and when you see somebody that wins the lottery and they become a millionaire, but they don't have that thinking, that kindness, they lose it all, or, they'll do whatever it takes to get to the top. That's poverty to me. That's poverty. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it challenges me to always be kind. And no matter what God blesses me with, to understand that there's a world out there that's hurting, and, maybe those people live a better life than me. Some of them, in terms of being kind, being loving, and they may not have what I have. So just to be grateful. It's humbling.
So 2 more questions. One of them is, what kind of legacy? Well, this is a double. This is one question, but it's double. What kind of legacy do you want to leave with the world, and then with your kids? How do you want your kids to remember you? How do you want the world to remember you?
The world, I want to be remembered as a faithful and courageous follower of Jesus that lived a life true to his convictions. That's it. I think that's really the most important thing for me. I try to live that daily, And then my kids, I would say the same thing, but I want them to remember me as somebody who who was courageous, That's it. And somebody who loved their mom, and somebody who did everything to protect them, and to look out for them,
That's cool. Okay, one last question. I'm sure there's some people out there. I think you're born an entrepreneur or you're not, but the ones that are born an entrepreneur, I'm sure there's some young people right now hearing your story and they're salivating, thinking, I've always wanted to do X or I've always wanted to do Y. I think we've already kind of given them some inspiration and advice, but what do you want to leave them with? Somebody that's out there going, I want to be like Samuel.
Well, I have 3 things. Start with love, keep it simple, and persevere. I think that's it. I mean, that's the lesson I had for myself. And I said, it's my motivation, love. If it's love, then it's going to happen. Then keep doing. And then we have the tendency to go into so many directions. Focus,
Yes.
keep it simple,
Yeah.
and then build on that and just keep going forward, because you're going to have challenges, but just persevere. I think that's really, so much of it is persistence. So much of life, He who endures to the end will be saved. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
Too many people quit too early, I think, with anything.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. What
Yes,
an honor.
yes.
What a pleasure, Marsha. Thank you so much.
You bet. Well, before we sign off, tell them again where they can buy boots and where they can, if they don't need any boots right now, where they can just donate to have more boots given, because you'll get orders for 50,000 boots for a charity. And how can they help with that?
That's right. So RomaBoots.com is the place where you can go and place an order if you need a pair of boots. If you don't need a pair of boots, but you want to contribute, go to RomaFoundation.com or RomaBootsPoverty.org. Same website, RomaBootsPoverty.org. And it's Roma Foundation. It's a non-profit. And that's my story. That's where you can find us. We're also on social media. Keep up with us at Roma Boots or Roma Foundation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank all of you guys for being here today on our premium channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. I've learned a lot. So we'll see you guys next time on Insights with Marsha.